There. It's on the internet. Somebody say something so I can make sure the sound works.
Hello, we're live.
There it is. We're live on the internet. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast spin-off podcast of the one that we usually do, where it's called the GameView podcast. I forgot to rewrite this part. It's there we go.
I was like, suddenly it's like you're the first
really
time
bad.
you've ever done this. What happened?
Let me start again. Hello and welcome to a very special different type of podcast that we do. It's a spin-off podcast of a regular podcast called the GameView podcast, where we watch a movie based off of video games, and then we give our sort of like 2 cents or our 3 cents. There's
sometimes
3 of us.
4 if we're really
if we're very generous, 5 cents.
A whole nickel.
Or a 6 cents if Bruce Willis
A whole
has been
Shyamalan.
Yeah, if Bruce Willis has been dead the whole time. But hey, do you guys remember that time that someone was a werewolf?
Yeah. That's happened like a lot.
Really.
Yeah, me neither. I am your host. I will be your host this evening. I am Daniel Osborne Rotz, and I am joined by Allison Remus Lupin Devender.
Oh.
And Chris Jacob Black Wrights.
I haven't seen this movie.
All you have to say is Bella, where have you been? Loca? That's a different one. So let's dive into this movie here. We watched well, first it's a video games podcast, but just so it's up front, the movie we watched is called Werewolves Within, and it came out in 2021. But first, it's time for a beer. Chris?
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking the Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest Fest beer. I am running low on my Oktoberfest.
Finally?
Finally.
It's
I'm going to be
about
switching
time.
over to... Someone left me the Simply Spiked. Who could that have been?
Oh, I don't know. That's so weird. Who could have done that? I didn't even remember.
I might be switching over to those.
Enjoy.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Right, they're so drinkable.
But Oktoberfest Fest beer.
Nice. And?
From Sierra Nevada. It tastes like an Oktoberfest. Sierra Nevada is like, they like make a basic beer and they do like a really good job. It's nothing fancy. It's it gets the job done, you know. It's a real blue collar, but like blue collar microbrew. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
They do a solid job with all their stuff. It's good. It tastes like a fest beer.
Cool. That's good. It's getting to the end of fest beer season. Soon they're all going to be skunked.
It's been
the end of it. I mean, but I mean, like from whenever you can buy them and still be like, oh, this is going to taste good.
Yeah.
Like as soon it's going to be like, oh, this isn't going to taste good.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. Allison, you are drinking some delicious water from coconuts.
Yeah, coconut water Goya brand.
What's on your glass? Is there anything on the glass?
Oh, well, there's little floaty bits of coconut in it.
Oh.
But,
okay.
also
Game
it's the Game Brew.
I'm using
nice.
this cool Oktoberfest glass that was given to me this year by Allison.
I'm not using any cool glasses. I'm just drinking out of the can. I'm sorry.
At least you're not drinking out of like a pickle jar.
Like someone we know.
Like some folks used to.
Those are good memories, though.
Side note, kids, I didn't post that we were actually podcasting right now. I don't know if anybody has the wherewithal to do that. ATM. Allison.
I got it.
I
forgot.
No, it's totally fine. But Allison and Chris, have you had aloe water ever?
Yeah, with like little chunks of cactus in it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's awesome.
No.
You like it? I
love it.
I don't think I'd like that.
It's so refreshing.
I
do you not like bubble tea?
I love bubble tea.
Yeah,
but
I think not really. I also don't like chunky orange juice. I don't like OJ.
So you don't like pulp?
I don't like pulp.
You don't like to chew your drink.
I don't like to chew my drinks. I do like milkshakes,
it's
though.
It's tasty in the chat.
It's tasty.
So tasty.
Oh wait, the real question though, is it?
I'm spicy and served hot.
No,
Is
it's
it?
not.
No,
No.
you want it to be not spicy. Well,
Oh,
it
that's
could-
could
How
be.
do
be
I
spicy,
delete that?
but it would be
button?
it could be cool. Like
You-
it would. You want it to be cool.
You
for
want it
sure.
to be cool. You can't delete that button.
All
right. But nice. Yeah, no, I don't like chunky drinks except for milkshakes. I like a chunky milkshake.
Because they bring the boys to
I'm
the
a
yard.
chunky milkshake.
Because they bring the
Makes
boys
sense.
to the yard. I also really like what's like ice cream soda, which is so
Ice
like
cream floats?
yeah, so like not just root beer floats. There used to be like this
Like
older
Coke?
diner. Like I would get like Coke floats are really good and
Yo, I bet a Dr Pepper one would be delicious. I've never done that.
Ooh, I think I'll have to try that. Hannah hates Dr. Pepper, so I can't.
Orange
I don't
soda.
I hate Hannah. What?
That's where it's at.
Don't say that.
Dr Pepper is so good.
Wait, did you say orange
Orange-
soda?
Orange soda floats because it's like a
Ooh.
cream.
It's like a creamsicle. Yeah.
Ooh, that would be good
So
too.
good.
But sadly, I am not drinking any of those things. I'm drinking Florida Man Double India Pale Ale from Cigar City Brewing.
I like cigar. They do High Life, don't they?
They do. I like
that's a
Cigar
good
City.
beer.
I
Yeah.
got like a mix pack of them. They have two different. This is the double IPA Florida Man. They have a single IPA Florida Man I'm gonna drink, but it's like really juicy and delicious. Yeah, for a double IPA, it doesn't hit you
Good.
super hard. Yeah, unpredictable varieties of hops used in nearly criminal volumes combined to create a bold, citrusy double India
Nearly
Pale Ale.
criminal volumes.
Brewed to pay tribute to the world's worst superhero, Florida Man. Which I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of all that.
So, have you seen Maryland Man at Magfest before? His shield is like a giant crab.
I have
awesome.
not seen Maryland Man before.
He's pretty great.
Anyways, that's very cool. That's what I'm drinking. It's good. I give it. It's pretty high chuggability. Chris, we forgot to say what the chuggability.
Massive chuggability. That
Yeah.
goes without saying.
So
not
massive.
The most chuggability of any drink.
I
'cause it's
believe,
coconut
yeah.
water.
Yeah. But,
Except that you'll get the little coconut bits stuck in your throat, so maybe don't chug it.
so
'cause
don't
you
be
gotta chew it.
careful. Be careful.
Mhm.
Don't chug. Don't chug your Coke floats either. And this is pretty high. This is mostly chuggable. I would say don't do it because it's double IPA, so it could get you real drunk. But yeah, still do it. All right, and then this is a beer and video games podcast.
Sure is.
I'm gonna go in reverse order. Allison, have you been playing any video games?
Well, yeah. Actually, I haven't felt well this week, so that's why I'm not drinking. Everyone, just so you know, I didn't just opt out because I didn't feel like it. But
Which you could totally do. Also,
I could-
there's
I could-
no
I could,
rules.
sure,
Yeah,
sure. But I like to because it's part of the fun of the podcast.
it's
But,
true. But
yeah,
we don't
I've been-
practice peer pressure. I just want to make sure everybody is aware of that.
Yes.
They don't.
Only me.
Only me.
Only me actually. So every time I don't feel well, I feel like I rediscover my Switch. I don't know if you guys get that.
Laying in bed.
Yeah, 'cause you
Yeah,
can lay in
but-
bed, play it.
Yeah,
your
for
arms
me,
fall
it's,
asleep.
when I like travel.
Yes, also a good time for that. What I'm dealing with is really like my back's been hurting, so I haven't been able to sit in my computer chair very long.
Yikes.
So there's been a lot of bedtime, and because there's been lots of bedtime, I was like, oh, I guess I'll pick up my Switch, and I couldn't really decide what I wanted to play because I didn't want anything I had to focus on. So I ended up starting to get back into Pokemon Unite because they're like 10-minute battles. 5 minutes was the event that was going on, so it was really like quick. If I wasn't feeling good, I could just be like, okay, 1 or 2. And I can't decide if it's a good game. And here's the thing, like it's really enjoyable.
Is Pokemon
like I'm having a good time.
Is Pokemon Unite like
it's a MOBA?
It's a Pokemon MOBA. I was like, I don't think I've heard of that one, and I was right.
MOBA,
I haven't heard of that one. So
yeah,
So
it's just like, so the thing is, like, I played it before and I had a decent time playing it. It was just kind of chill, and now I'm ranking up. And I'm playing against like
Tryhards.
I guess tryhards. And now that I'm there, I can't decide if the game's good or not because I don't think the balance is really there. It's like you play certain characters or you lose. That's really how it goes.
Got it.
Like Mewtwo, which in lore, sure, Mewtwo should be overpowered, but if you're going to make a MOBA and you don't have a Mewtwo on a team, you lose.
Yeah, like, everyone should be evenly, at least.
There should only be one Mewtwo.
There's 2 Mewtwo's. There's X and Y, actually, in the game. So
I don't
like. It's very difficult for me to decide if I'm enjoying it now as much as I was when I first started picking it back up this week. But I'm still playing it, so I guess there's something there. But I do get frustrated when it's like, okay, you got to play Mewtwo or we lose, kind of.
Yeah,
vibe.
that's
just
silly.
Isn't fun. But I'm playing Sylveon. Sylveon's also very S tier in my opinion. There's just certain champions that it's like you have to play these champions or you're gonna get wrecked. Completely wrecked. And there's lots of Pokemon now that they've added since the last time I played, which I thought was cool. But again, they're not viable. So what is I mean, okay, I guess. But yeah.
I think that's one of the things where Pokemon are geared to be good in some they work in the Pokemon games, you know,
right? Yeah.
But when you put them into other stuff, I don't know how well it translates into MOBA land. It's there's obviously some Pokemon that are way more powerful. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna have my Oddish come in and be be bot lane, you know? It's no, Oddish can't solo bot. That doesn't make any sense. No matter how many pots he's got.
It's like this thing of in League, there's lore and you have these celestial gods and things that are huge and massive and in theory should just wreck, and they don't. They're balanced because they have to be. And I think they need to kind of lean into that more. I don't know if maybe Mewtwo's one of the hot new champions and they just want people to buy him, because that's common for MOBAs is to overtune champions and then have everybody purchase them. So people put money into the game and they need that champion and then kind of tune them down. I don't think so, because there's people in the game literally that I've seen and their username is something like Nerf Mewtwo. So clearly this has been going on long enough that people are that mad.
But they're creating accounts just to
just out of spite.
Didn't they say to whenever Overwatch first started, wasn't there a Nerf Genjis all over the places? Or
you'll get stuff like that all the time, and I see it commonly, but it's just kind of usually people change their name back because eventually there's a balance check. But yeah, I don't know.
But all right, but but you're having fun with it though. Still,
I was having fun. I can't decide if I'm still having as much fun because now it's just kind of I feel forced to play these things rather than enjoying it, and so I don't know. I'll check in once I get more of a vibe from it.
You got it, Christopher.
Yes, that's me.
The games of which you play. Describe.
Describe. So I've recently been picked up The Lord of the Rings Return to Moria.
Ooh.
The premise of which is you're a dwarf accompanying Gimli to Moria post Lord of the Rings. So after Return of the King.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
You're going to reclaim Moria.
Reclaim it. Yeah.
There's not a Balrog in there because spoiler alert, Gandalf killed it. So it's a survival crafting game.
Okay.
Which generally I don't love.
Okay.
But I kind of get tired. They're definitely game. This is definitely a game you have to play with other people to really enjoy.
Yeah.
But the theming of it really caught my eye because I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. So it's really fun to go around Moria. And it's a little bit more structured than open world crafting games, and it's not really any RPG elements. It's more upgrading your armor and upgrading your stuff, and that's how you kind of progress. And then you also just have to keep going deeper and deeper to explore stuff. So exploration is a big part of it.
Okay.
as well as like fighting certain bosses and stuff.
Got it.
Which is interesting because the fighting mechanics aren't that intense. Like there's not really a lot to them. You
I
can
mean,
swing, you
yeah.
can block, you can roll. That's about it.
You're dwarves, so that makes sense to me. There's
Yeah, but
like, what do you do? I have my axe.
yeah, but like there's a lot of like fun little things. Like we came across a brewery or an inn or something that
Nice.
had like one final keg of beer. So we were each like drinking the beer, and like you could like sing songs together, and you can do that while you're mining too. And
that's pretty
kind of
cool.
like line up. But yeah, it's fun.
That.
I don't know. It's just like it's a great game to play with other people. If they're also interested in being dwarves.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings Dwarf Simulator. I mean, that's perfect. That's the type of game.
There's not much there to hate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
it's I don't know if it's worth $40 at the moment. So maybe wait to get it on sale. But like, if you got some people that are like those games, yeah, definitely check it out.
It looks pretty neat. I mean, it looks far better than the Gollum game that came out. So I mean,
I could make a better looking game than that game.
than the Gollum game,
and I've never made a game.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
No, who was like, yeah, let's make everyone wants to play Gollum. That's the person that everyone has been clamoring to play for decades.
Especially
Gollum. Come on.
When the last like adventure game for Lord of the Rings they did was the Shadows of Mordor, where you're
awesome.
Where you're badass, like you're a badass knight or former defender of the walls of Moria.
And Gollum was in that.
And he was in that, and that's all.
And he looked so much better.
Oh boy.
I mean, they could have had like a mission or two that you play as Gollum. That would be interesting. Don't know how you'd write that, but still more interesting than an entire game where you play as Gollum. Come on.
Very silly. Very silly, but
read the room.
Read the room. Go be a dwarf and take it back, Moria.
That's right. Make Gimli proud.
Make Gimli proud. I'm playing a lot of things right now. Modern Warfare 3 came out. Not going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. Alan Wake 2. I'm still playing. Not going to talk about that. I am going to talk about how I platinumed Spider-Man 2 already.
How long ago did that come out?
Probably like a week. Maybe 2.
Wow, Dan.
I mean, is it a wow, Dan, or is it a not that much content?
No, it's a I love Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man or Batman?
Spider-Man. All day. Every
Spider-Man,
day.
give him any. It's going to be Spider-Man.
It doesn't matter. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. I love his rogues gallery of villains. I love all the different Spider-Men that are out there, because Spider-Man 2, obviously there was Spider-Man that came out some time ago. Fantastic game. Amazing. And then they came out with Spider-Man Miles Morales, which continued it. So basically it's like you had Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man goes on vacation, so you're Miles Morales, and Miles Morales is like the new second Spider-Man. In this one, Spider-Man 2, you're both Spider-Man. You get to play, like, you play Peter Parker, and you play the
Spider-Man.
You play the Spider-Man. And it is funny because whenever they refer to each other in combat, they call each other Spider-Man because they can't give away their secret identities. So it's like, it's just like, watch out, Spider-Man. He's like, thanks, Spider-Man. And it's like, and it's wild. I love that stuff. But it's really good. The story is very moving. I was tearing up a few times.
I teared up in the first one when
It's great. It's great. They really do a good job of like embodying the Spider-Man ideals in these games, which is good, because sometimes whenever you put things into video game format, you have the capability of like losing what the point is.
The source material is.
Yeah, it's like it's like the point of Spider-Man is like great power, great responsibility. So it's like you have this power, you have a responsibility to use it to make the world better, and that has a lot to do with like it also reflects in like the different like there's Feast, which is the is like the community center that Aunt May works at, and then there's also Harriet Osborn is in this one. I'm not really giving any spoilers here for the game, but like Harry Osborn is in this one. So you get to kind of see like his entrepreneurial ideals in it, which is also good.
Is he cool or is he not cool?
Oh, he's pretty cool. I mean, everybody's cool. I don't want to give away too many spoilers for anything, but it's advertised pretty heavily. Venom is in this one.
Nice.
It is very.
Do you get to play as Venom?
Yes, you do get
Hell
to play.
yeah.
Well, not Venom. You get to. Well, that's not true.
Spider-Venom?
You get to play as Black Suit Spider-Man. You also get to play as Venom at some points.
Do you get to walk down the street pointing at?
No, not doing like the dances. No. But I will say
opportunity.
There should have been like a reference to it. Honestly, yeah.
I mean, there is like some like his personality does change a little bit whenever he has that suit on. So it's done pretty well. But there's a lot of really cool villains in it. There's a lot of really cool storylines. Wraith is in it. And then it introduces, because at the end of this one, they basically say like Miles Morales is going to be like the Spider-Man for the future Spider-Man games. Like Peter Parker was in the first one and this one. The next one is going to be Miles Morales is like the main Spider-Man. And then they introduce like the next newest Spider person who's going to be there.
Pig?
It's not Spider Pig.
Oh
there is.
I would live for that game.
There are a bunch of side quests where you go around and collect things that are like themed off the different Spider-Mans. Like you can wear like, and there's so many different suits.
Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah, you get to wear the Spider-Man Noir suit.
Nice.
And it's just so cool. And there's like you could get the Miles Morales costumes that are based on Into and Across the Spider-Verse. So like whenever you use them, it like slows down your frame animation so it looks like you're in those movies.
Cool.
It's really cool. I love the suits are the best part aside from the story being awesome. I really recommend it. So good. Could be game of the year in my opinion.
That's
there's a lot
there's so many options.
I mean,
like Baldur's Gate 3.
I mean,
I'm sure Tears of the Kingdom for some people. I don't think Starfield's in it.
Can we just do games of the year? Let's just say everybody.
Starfield already won Xbox Game of the Year.
It did? No.
Yeah, I think Xbox was like, yep, that one wins.
Nope. Okay. All right.
I would like
the award, Obama giving awards to himself. Have you seen that meme?
Yeah.
I would like to tell my dad, even though he's not going to listen to this one, probably, thank you in advance for my Christmas gift, which will be Spider-Man, based on this review, because he always gives me cash to get what I want. And now that'll be it. That'll be my gift to me for Christmas.
Do you have a PS5?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Well,
yeah, it's so good. Also, it uses, since it's for PS5, like all of the things like that uses the controller audio a lot, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited because I don't really have any games for it yet. It's a newer purchase.
It's so good.
So,
yeah,
very excited.
I do recommend playing the first Insomniac Spider-Man if you haven't played it yet. It's very long.
Oh yeah.
All of these games are very long. I do have to tell you, I stayed up till 2 or 3 in the morning most nights when I was playing this game. So it's like,
I have no doubt.
It's just,
awesome.
It's just fun to swing around and be Spider-Man. So, highly recommend. That's it. I'll stop talking about Spider-Man now, because now we're going to talk about werewolves. A woo.
A woo. A woo.
A woo.
That sounded a little too close to ooh woo.
Ooh
Ooh woo.
Ooh woo. Ooh woo. Ada,
Ooh
ada.
woo.
Is the other one, right? I don't know what. Ada, 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 ada. I don't know.
Someone clip that.
Now the
I'll get it later.
Oh, what's the thing that's on TikTok that everybody keeps saying? The mécanique de la triste. Oh God, it's the.
I don't know that one.
Mécanique de la. Oh, I don't know. Oh shit! It's gonna kill me. I've been saying it.
I think he's making it up.
The revolution of the mécanique de la blah blah blah. Ah, fuck! God damn it! All right. Well, anyway,
I don't tick.
You don't
tick to the talk. So.
You don't tick to the talk. Tick tock on the clock. DJ, blow those speakers up. But we watched Werewolves Within from 2021, and now we're going to talk about it. I'm basically going to go. I'm going to go up to. This is a very simple movie.
Yes.
It's not.
There are werewolves, and they're in there.
There are werewolves. They're within. There's at least 3 Mr. Rogers quotes. But
yes, Yes, there are.
But I'm just gonna go through. I'm gonna read. I guess. Yeah, it's so I'm gonna read most of it.
It's a mystery, so we're not going to give away the ending.
We're gonna go pre-spoilers. I'm gonna go pre-spoilers, and then we're gonna go to spoilers. So, Forest Ranger Finn Wheeler, who is Sam Richardson, everybody's favorite, one of everybody's favorite actors. He was in Detroiters. He's in Tim Robinson's stuff. He's like best friends with Tim Robinson, so he's in like the I Think You Should Leave.
Yeah.
He was in Veep, and
he's funny.
He's great. He's really hilarious.
He's really good.
So he plays Ranger Finn Wheeler, and he's assigned to a town called Beaverfield, a small town where the residents are divided over a pipeline proposed by businessman Sam Parker. Upon arriving, Finn befriends mail carrier Cecily Moore, Milana Vaintraub,
also known as the AT&T girl.
The AT&T girl, or the T-Mobile girl now, right? Or is it still AT&T?
Well,
No,
she was the
T-Mobile's
AT&T girl, and then she stopped doing it while she did films and movies, and also, I don't know why. And now she's back to it.
Now she's back to it. I think they gave her some like
she was Guilfoyle's girlfriend in Silicon Valley.
Oh God, she was. I forgot about that.
I haven't seen that.
It's a blah 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 blah. Also, Sam. Great. Cecily Parker. He also meets Trisha Anderson and her unfaithful husband Pete. Played by Trisha Anderson is Michaela Watkins, who you would know from so many things. Fantastic comedian. And who else? Who was the other person? It was
Pete was played by Michael Chernis.
Yes.
Or Chernis, sorry.
Chernis. And then wealthy couple Devin and Joachim Wolfson.
AKA what's his name from what we do in the
Guillermo
shadows?
from What We Do in the Shadows. Guillermo or Gizmo.
Harvey Gillian.
Yep.
Gillian? I don't know.
I think it's
Harvey Guillen.
I think it's Guillen, yeah. And then who is his husband? His husband is named
Cheyenne Jackson.
Cheyenne Jackson.
Oh wait, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Cheyenne Jackson. I always know him. He was in 30 Rock. And he comes in to be like the other guy on the show.
Okay.
And then there's also Blue Collar Workers, Gwen and Marcus, again, to like George Basil and Sarah Burns, both hilarious comedic actors. Yep. And then Isolationist Emerson Flint, who is like your classic, like lives in the woods, very scary, doesn't want to talk to anybody. Will shoot you off if you go on his property. That night, a blizzard knocks out all the power in Beaverfield, forcing the residents to take refuge in a lodge owned by Jeannie Sherman. The power outage occurs right before Trisha's dog is killed by an unknown assailant, which increases tensions in the town. Further conflict arises when Finn discovers that all of Beaverfield's generators were sabotaged, and the body of Janine's missing husband, Dave, is underneath the lodge's porch. Let's stop right there. That's a good place to stop for
so basically
setup.
There's a whole lot of
characters. They basically just introduce all the characters. It takes maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely like one of those it kind of has similar pacing in a way to like Clue, where they just introduce all these characters and then things start happening. They start blaming each other. There are clues around about who's doing what, but if you're like paying close attention to it. But I thought they did a good job of like kind of keeping you guessing and making you think it was one person, then making you think it's someone else. And like, so
yeah,
it could have been anyone at the end, you know?
Which was like really good nods to, like you said, kind of like old classic whodunits like Clue, who have these like red herrings and
Agatha
things like
Christie stuff.
Yeah.
And then like the glass onion mysteries. It's just it is very much like as I was watching, I was like, okay, this is the classic setup. First, we have to get what all the characters are and what's their trope.
Motives for everyone. Like.
Yeah. Sam Richard, Finn Wheeler is a ranger. He's been moved there after some crazy stuff happened, which is what he said is he fished in a lake he wasn't allowed to fish in. And then the rangers saw him because someone posted on Instagram, so he got moved up here. Cecily is a postal worker, so she's moving around all the time. That's why she's up here. Sam Parker wants this oil thing to go through, and he's like kind of a slimy businessman sort of character. Everybody has tropes. Everybody's a
they're
trope.
all
Everybody's
very
a
much
trope.
stereotypes.
Yeah, which is if
Except-
yeah, go ahead.
Except Sam.
Except-
Sam, who's like your likable character, right? And
Yeah.
then you have the tropes.
Yeah, you have Finn and Cecily are kind of like the two people you're like, oh, I'm all in on these people, and then everybody else is just kind of, and then and also what's her face, Jermaine, no, Janine. I like Janine.
The innkeeper.
Yeah, the innkeeper. She was very nice.
Yeah, fair. She was like the like motherly type,
Yeah.
the safe space character.
Right. And then we also have Dr. Jane Ellis, who is there also. Hilarious.
I liked her a lot.
Dr. Jane Ellis was the funniest character in it. And then
Yeah, so good.
Where they were like looking at the corpse of the one dude and she just like pops up.
Yeah. She's like, that's a dead body.
So good.
It was kind of refreshing because it was like she
The whole
wasn't
movie
really
was
a
refreshing.
trope. She wasn't really a trope or like a stereotype. She was just weird and quirky and like out there. So it was unexpected, I guess.
I think that they did a really good job with casting this movie.
Yes, they did.
For like it's a low budget film.
Yeah.
And like you can kind of tell, but also like they still did a good job of like working that to their advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything was like
there's an explosion, and then like when it blows up, they do like a zoom out shot and you see the explosion.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to pay for the explosion.
All we had was just the smoke coming up from the thing, and that's all you know. That's how you know it happened. Yeah. They didn't even have the storm happen. They were like, oh, there's going to be this crazy storm that goes through the town tonight that might knock out all the power. And then it's the next morning, basically.
Yeah.
Like they only show like far out shots of everything, but it was good. It was really great. So let's see. I'm just going to keep going unless anyone else has anything else to say about meeting all these characters. But yeah, it's just a lot of different characters. Then after they find Dave, Dave's body. Oh, in the beginning we got a little teaser of Dave with his like wedding ring, and like the whole thing was Dave, who is Janine's husband, supposedly met
innkeeper's husband.
Yeah, the innkeeper's husband. Met a girl at a bar and then went to Belize, but it turns out nope, he's dead. He's been dead this whole time.
Yep. They find his body under the inn.
Yep. Finn, the character Sam Richardson, finds the body and is very funny about it. He says, well, it's the last thing he mentions.
Yep.
That whole scene.
Oh, by the way, there's a dead body.
Oh, by the way, there is a dead body underneath the inn. So do with that what you will, in a very Sam Richardson style.
Yeah.
Gosh, he's so fun. He's so good at his delivery is just perfect every time. So the residents attempt to barricade themselves in the lodge for safety. But then at night, Pete gets his hand bitten off by the same unknown assailant. And then Jane Ellis, the doctor, who's an environmentalist and opponent of the pipeline, concludes the assailant is a werewolf who is one of the lodge's current inhabitants because nobody can get in or out. Hence, like Werewolves Within. And then
I think that's when they actually name drop Werewolves Within.
Yes.
In the movie. They were like Werewolves Within
the inn.
The inn.
They're within. After announcing her findings, Dr. Ellis dies in front of Parker under ambiguous circumstances. Parker claims she committed suicide because she has a gun. Basically, because Parker wants the pipeline. She doesn't want the pipeline. This is when everybody starts to get like, it's a murder mystery. Everybody starts to get at each other's throats because like, he's like, I walked in and she killed herself. And then they're like, well, how do we know that you didn't kill her? And then et cetera, et cetera. Those remaining in the lodge initially consider staying together to force the assailant out of hiding, but ultimately all but Finn and Cecily leave for their homes. Finn gives a really good speech about being a good about like how they should all be good neighbors and why they're all there, and like why they all should care about each other, and it does not work. Everybody leaves.
Yes.
Yep. Everybody leaves except for Finn and Cecily. And then that's whenever stuff kind of kicks off here.
Yeah, basically it's just like a rapid set of things that happened that
it really, like, I would say this movie is an hour and 37 minutes long. So it is not the longest thing in the world, but about an hour of that movie is everything we've talked to up to this point.
Yep.
So like the last half hour of this movie is just, it just goes. Everything happens in the last 30 minutes. I didn't like that as much. I think it felt like they had to squeeze it in real fast, as opposed to, like, I don't know, maybe making it wait a little bit longer for stuff.
I wasn't sure, like, for me, I guess, when I first watched it, I watched it in the theater, and I didn't really notice where things were as far as timing. So I didn't feel that the first time I watched it.
Okay.
And to me, it just kind of felt like everything picked up for sure. But it was like, it felt like it was intentionally frantic.
Okay.
To kind of make you feel the vibe that they were feeling of, like, everything's coming at them all at once, and like now this, and like they have to deal with it. So like for me, watching it that way, I think I wasn't paying attention as much as to the time frame, and it felt like it was meant to be that.
Right. Okay. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Chris, did you have what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, I thought it was. I mean, I thought it was pretty well paced for me. I kind of liked that it was not the longest film.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's, like you said, it is a pretty simple story.
Yeah, you don't have to spend 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
making that.
But then again, maybe it was me, like he said, like I was thinking of this movie a lot like Clue, and that's like one of my favorite movies ever, right?
Yes,
I've said that before. And the way that movie is, it's like very, not much happening, and then all of a sudden, bam, 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 bam.
Right.
So it was like it felt very natural
with Tim
for
Curry,
me.
like going to each spot in the house.
Yeah, which is literally how it ends.
Yeah.
It's very fast paced, but it's like it's kind of that whole thing of like the way it builds, and then holy shit, and then you just have to deal with it, and it's fast, and then it's over. So I guess for me, I was kind of mentally comparing it and didn't mind that.
Okay, all right. So this is when tensions reach a boiling point in Beaverfield, and everyone begins to kill each other. I think it starts with. So, who was first?
Oh gosh, yeah.
I think so. What's her face? Trisha kills Devin, like the rich guy who owns a yoga studio, who's married to Joaquin
Guillermo,
and stabs him.
Yes,
stabs him in the neck with like a tree sap puller. And then I was kind of like, oh wow, she's lost it.
Oh, she straight up did that. Yeah,
yeah, she straight up did that. And then
Pete.
And then Pete dies.
Yeah, and then Pete dies because
he had his hand bitten off. And then they're just like, oh, we'll get medical attention. And then he instead just leaves.
Guillermo kills
Trisha.
Well, no, but then Marcus is before that.
Oh, that's right. Marcus. No, wait. Does Trisha die before Marcus, or Marcus dies before Trisha?
Well, are we looking at the technical order or the order in the movie?
The order in the movie. I guess because Marcus gets hit by a car. No, what happens to Marcus? Why can't
he leaves the inn.
He has
a breakdown.
He tapes
He tapes all the knives to his fingers.
All the knives to his fingers.
The homemade glove with the knife.
Then gets hit by the truck.
Oh,
yes,
that's
and then
right.
Gets hit by the truck. But that happens before Trish.
Oh, right, because Trisha then shoots Gwen.
Yes.
In the truck with her tiny little gun that she has that everybody makes fun of her for her tiny little gun. Yes. So the Gwen, and then
Trish.
And then Trisha. How does Trisha die?
Trish gets shut out of the house
Right.
after she shot Gwen, and then she goes into the back and threatens them with that little gun.
But then Guillermo kills her, right?
And then Joaquin accuses her of killing his husband Devin.
Oh, and then he hits her with the fire poker.
And then whacks her with the poker.
He whacks her with the fire poker.
And they're like, she's fine. She's not fine.
She was not fine.
So yes,
and then,
that's how she dies.
And then they go outside, and then Joaquin gets shot by Sam.
Parker.
By Parker. Right.
Parker.
With the crossbow.
Parker shoots him with a crossbow.
Parker shoots him with the crossbow, and Parker explodes and dies.
Right, because Parker thinks that. So so everyone thinks there's a werewolf, which is like completely insane. That everyone's just like, oh, there's a werewolf. There's a werewolf this whole time, and then it turns out everyone's like, oh, this Sam Parker guy isn't an oil baron. He's just been hunting this werewolf, and he's got all these parts, and he thinks that Finn, Sam Richardson, is the werewolf because he's been all of the places where these like werewolf attacks have happened. So he's like, I'm gonna kill you, and then instead, Joaquin has the tiny gun that he took from what's her face, Trisha, and then he shoots this big, this like oil sculpture, propane sculpture thing that explodes. Sam dies. Everyone else is mildly injured, but like for an explosion,
as big as they showed it. Yeah,
but only Parker dies. It's okay.
Only Parker dies after stabbing Finn.
And then Joaquin dies because he gets shot with an
arrow
by Parker.
Right, or he like succumbs to his Parker arrow wounds. So he eventually just dies. And then everything's great. Everything's hunky dory. Because it's been they were like, oh, it was Sam. Sam was the one who did it. There were all these things, like there was a gasoline covered knife that they found in his stuff. He's been all these places. He was killing people. They were like, this is it. Then they go inside. Spoilers ahead for anybody.
Not that this whole thing isn't spoilers.
Everything is spoilers, but it's the movie. So they go into the bar. Whenever they go in, Finn and Cecily are in there. Finn learns that Dave was Beaverfield's previous mail carrier. And Dave was Janine's husband, the innkeeper's husband. He then realizes that none of the packages that are delivered, they're in this bar where Cecily's been hanging out. And turns out Cecily's the werewolf.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Confronted by Finn, Cecily acknowledged she turned the residents against each other to make feasting on them easier. She subsequently attempts to kill Finn in her werewolf form. But Finn defeats her with the help of Emerson, who...
Lake and Palmer.
Yes.
I was going to say he defeats her with the power of plot, shield, and armor. And being the good guy.
And being the good guy, being a good neighbor. But
yes.
And Finn does give a really good speech at this point, too, about how he's just trying to be nice and a good neighbor. And it's weird that that's the thing that is making her take advantage of him, was the fact that he's just trying to help people and just be nice. So, still alive, Cecily makes a final effort to attack Finn and Emerson before Janine finishes her off with a crossbow. And then... like ending hero shot and then credits. Boom. So that's it. That's the whole plot. We don't have to go through a whole lot for this. Were you guys surprised that Cecily was the werewolf at the end, or did you think that did you call it?
I wasn't super surprised, honestly. I felt like there was like some clues earlier, especially with like, she was crazy nice to him, and like they had like a whole falling in love thing that happened earlier in the movie really quickly, like to the point that it was unbelievable.
Well, it is a movie. I've seen people fall in love faster in movies than that.
But you know what I mean? Like, but like,
Yeah.
not, but like, even in one day, it was like less than a day's time.
Gotcha.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it definitely like their relationship felt like a plot point. It felt like a plot point. So I felt like if there was a werewolf, it was going to be her. But then they made me think there wasn't a werewolf for a minute. So that was the time when I was a little disarmed to be like, oh.
And I'll point out that the name of the movie is Werewolves Within, implying that, like, yes, there was one werewolf, but like,
But
they
really,
were still eating each other. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they
they were werewolves to themselves.
Well, and I guess that's the like the undertone of the movie, or like one would say the point is that it is about how if you are not focused on being a good neighbor to the people around you and like being helpful to others, you could be like instead wishing for their downfall. That's the werewolf within. That's like the werewolves within that it is. It's like instead you wishing harm and negative things on the people who you're close to or in close proximity to. If you all try and better each other, then maybe you better yourself. And that's the the point of the movie.
Yeah, like I did have to go to find out who wrote this movie just to make sure it wasn't Mr. Rogers on some medication, but
it was not.
It was not. So
it was not. It was Mishna Wolf. Mishna Wolf has written 0 other movies. She was a writer on Wolf Like Me.
She's got a thing.
Well, I mean, her last name is Wolf, so I mean, that makes sense.
She's
is she related
really
to the wolf
leaning
of Law and Order?
or in The Big Bad?
Dick Wolf? No, I don't think so. No, but she has like a really critically acclaimed book called I'm Down. It's her memoir. And she was in Upright Citizens Brigade, I think.
Which is like a comedy troupe.
Yeah.
That Amy Poehler was in. The original one of the original parts of it was Amy Poehler. Bunch of I feel like a lot of the folks that eventually go to SNL come from there.
Yeah.
Or College Humor.
And she was married to Marc Maron for a while. They got divorced, and that was like Marc Maron talks a lot about how he was a terrible husband. And that is to who he was a terrible husband, was to Mishna Wolf. Yeah. So yeah, she wrote it. It's pretty good. It was directed.
It was directed by Josh Rubin, who's another College Humor alum. We've probably might have heard of us talk about him. He's on a lot of like Game Changer or Make Some Noise, some of the Dropout TV stuff. I don't know. I thought it was a pretty good movie.
No, I thought it was great. I did want to point out there was in an interview with Vanity Fair, Josh Rubin did talk about, because this is a movie. It is based off a video game called Werewolves Within, which you've probably played some sort of version of in your life at some point. There's
very similar, like Mafia is kind of the same thing.
Town of Salem, that's another one, just called Werewolf. And Ubisoft had this game Werewolves Within that was released in 2016, and then 2018 they were like, we're going to make a movie. And in 2020 is when Josh Rubin and Sam Richardson were put on. Sam Richardson was a producer on it. And yeah, they shot this in February of 2020. Nothing bad happened in February of 2020 that anyone remembers, though, right? You know?
Yeah.
So
nope.
So
they were good.
Obviously.
Definitely a year where nothing happened.
And then it was released in 2021. But Josh did say that, like, whenever he was asking them about how they wanted, like, did you want him to put any Easter eggs or anything like that? And they were like, no, just make a good movie. And he was like, okay. So he just made a good movie.
I've got to say, I didn't know that this was based on the game. I just kind of thought they shared the same title by accident. And I walked out still thinking they shared the title by accident. You know what I mean? Like I
do. Yeah, well, that's kind of the point. Is like it wasn't a movie of all the video game movies we've done so far. This one's probably the most like, oh, we just took the idea of this video game and then made a movie off of that idea.
Right. Yeah.
Versus like, oh, it's a video game. I'm going to make the video game into a movie.
I mean, yeah, no, like I felt like it did have some. I mean, I haven't played the game, but I'm thinking more about like playing Mafia in college. Like, it had definitely like that feel because like they would every so often they would go off and then come back together and then go off. You know what I mean? Like,
but I think that's kind of the thing too. It's like this could have been called Mafia. This could have been called Town of Salem.
Well, it could have been called Mafia.
Like it had
there's no Mafia.
But it had the idea of like how those things work, but nothing told me like this is based on Werewolves Within, other than there was werewolf.
Other than there was a werewolf. I think,
but that's also the defining characteristic of that game. Sorry, like that's what makes it different. It's a werewolf.
You're trying to, it's a werewolf.
Mafia person.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but it's still. But the idea, I think, is that there is like someone who is lying. It's like a murder mystery. There's somebody who is being false among you. There's a werewolf within. There's a werewolf among us.
There's a werewolf within all of us, Dan.
Oh, there is. But I mean, the characters are very tropey. They are the actual costumes they wear are very like they're kind of almost like action figures, is what Josh Rubin said in the same interview. He was just like, I just wanted them to be like, it's like you could get the things and be like, yeah, I'm a mechanic, and it's like all the same things that a mechanic would wear. Or it's like, I'm a yoga instructor, or like I'm a person who like believes or is like the whole like a wholesale wellness person, and you know it's like, oh, that's what they look like. Except for, did you notice that they couldn't afford the rights to use the U.S. Postal Service?
I didn't notice that.
I did. Yeah.
Because whenever you look, it's like she was just like a postal mail carrier is what the name of the like mail service is called, because they couldn't afford to use any of that.
I did appreciate how like immediately she was like, gender's a social construct.
Yep. Male person. Yeah, but I think that was like one of the things where it's like, yeah, everything's a trope. There's such a small cast. So it's like, it's only the really aggressive things about them that stuck out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we keep talking about this as a movie. Do you think that this was similar to sort of like what I mean, if you've never played Werewolves Within, it's pretty much like everybody has a role, just like Werewolf or One Night Ultimate Werewolf or just Werewolf or Mafia. Everybody has a role. Everybody can do a thing. You go to sleep at night. Somebody wakes up. You wake up. Somebody's dead. You accuse somebody of being the werewolf.
Yep.
Do you think that this movie was similar to that game? Like, do you think that it was close enough to be like, this is a video game movie? Or do you think that it's too different?
I guess like for me, it's like what makes this more of a video game movie than The Wolfman could be called a video game movie. You know what I mean? Like, they're both the ideas of like people lying, there's a werewolf, and like pointing, and like, but obviously different in the exact plots. But like, I don't think there's anything in this movie that screamed this is a video game based movie beyond just being a wolf horror mystery movie.
A Wolf Among Us. For me, I think it's just the fact that it was an Ubisoft original motion picture. So yeah. Whenever that popped in the beginning, I was like, Ubisoft. Okay, it's a video game thing. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What's the other movie?
It didn't have to be. Yeah, it didn't have to. Like, it could have been if anyone had done it, it wouldn't really be a video game movie, I feel like.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So let's go. Does anyone else have anything else they wanted to bring up about this movie before we go to the money bits?
I think we had everything.
No, yeah.
No? Okay. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I had that I wanted to do. Oh, Chris, you said you really wanted to go to that Axe bar.
Oh yes, so there's an axe throwing bar that also has tons of video games. Looks awesome.
It looked really cool. I was like, I want this to be a real place that I can go
Same.
to.
Fun
Like for
fact,
such a small town, like that's an awesome place to hang out.
I have gone to an Axe bar before.
Mm.
There were not video games.
I have too, but yeah, there wasn't video games.
There wasn't video games, and I am very good at axe throwing.
Terrifying.
I don't know why that is the one weapon. I guess no. Actually, I was also very good with a pistol when my dad taught me. So I'm very good with weaponry.
What
That's all
about
I've done.
what about like a rope or a lead pipe or a candlestick?
I'm never telling you if I've actually had that experience. Okay.
Okay. All right. It's hard to play Clue.
If you find out, you're never going to tell anyone else.
I'm just
okay?
not going to
That's
go
all
to
I'm
the
gonna say.
billiard room if there's a lead pipe in there. That's the only thing. Okay, so let's do some money stuff. And then what else? Were there any other notes that Chris wrote down here? That name drop was fantastic.
It was just like the way that they did that. We kind of went over that.
Oh, right. Solid casting. Yeah. Okay, great. So the money stuff. This movie, it cost to make. They spent $6.5 million, which is almost literally nothing in movie land. That was probably mostly advertising and effects, I think.
Yeah, that explosion that they paid for.
And like set dressing and stuff like that. But it's like, but that's almost nothing. So, and you can tell when you watch it, it's like you watch it and you're like, yeah, this is a low budget movie, but they did a good job. Like everything was fine. I really felt, I'll say this later. Go back to the money stuff. So it was $6.5 million in total. It made around, its total box office is almost $1 million, $991,898 worldwide. Not ranked that year that movies came out. I think if it was ranked between like 6,501 to 6,701 or something like that. But not technically a flop because they didn't spend enough money for it to be like a big budget crush.
It's not like they lost a lot of money, but it's also the highest ranked movie based on a video game.
That is true.
In terms of
like the rating of the movie. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It's wild. And especially because this also was like, it was released in theaters. It wasn't widely released. It was a limited release in theaters. I think it was in some like 297 theaters or something like that. And then they distributed it on streaming services, which is IFC Films, which I think at the time was Peacock. I can't remember. Or it might have been HBO. I don't remember what IFC was. But yeah, that's it. That's the money. I mean, if you look at the money, they didn't make back the money for the movie, but it's good ratings. I think it was well received by pretty much everybody.
They probably made back their money from streaming.
Probably.
And that was a like time when people were still a little wary of sitting in a theater with people too.
That's also
right.
True.
Yeah. In 2021, it was still bad. It came out in July.
So it was like early, or mid, I guess. Okay,
yeah. So it was like
I remember seeing it, and I was like, "Should I see this in a theater?" It was like one of the first movies that I did, but there
was probably almost nothing. There was probably almost no one in the theater whenever you went to see it.
It's true. Yeah. So it was
nice. Okay. So, guys, we have to do our. Now we go to the part of the podcast where we give our handy dandy Game Brew TM rating system. And I'm going to start with Allison. Allison, what would you rate this movie?
I would rate this movie 4 Sam Richardson's speeches out of 5.
Okay. Very
Uplifting
good.
speeches.
Uplifting, Mr. Rogers based Sam Richardson speeches. Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. It was quirky. The cast was outrageous. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very fun movie. Not necessarily that it screamed a video game movie to me, but just in general as a movie, it was a good movie.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, Christopher.
I will give it 4 full-on axes and 1 axe handle thrown at the AT&T girl.
Nice.
Out of 5.
Okay.
As a movie, as a video game movie, it probably gets like 1 axe thrown at the AT&T girl.
Right, because you don't think it was very close enough to being like a video game.
I mean, that's just not like. I mean,
yeah,
it's really hard to make it feel like a video game.
Right. Unless you have them all sitting in the room, like you literally like put them all in the room and then they all leave and then somebody dies in the middle of the night and then you bring them all back together again and then
Which I mean, sort of happened a little bit, but
that kind of happened, but it didn't happen.
But also, it's just like it doesn't have such a big property identity to really like do it.
I got it.
But very good movie. It's probably the best like scary movie that I saw this Halloween season.
I feel like if they had Easter eggs in it, maybe that would have been enough for me to maybe lean harder into video game movie. So the fact that they were like, no, don't bother with that, made it, I don't know, not so much a video game movie. Just give me something.
I mean, I'm gonna give it. I give this movie 6 out of 10 different guns that they put into a bed sheet and put in a room, but then somehow forgot that they left there and then never got.
No, they put it outside.
They put it outside? I thought they just locked it in a room. Sure. Oh, that's right. He did. But it's funny because it's like they did that and then never went back for those guns ever again. It was just like, we put all these guns outside. They're gone. So yeah, I thought it very much read to me like I have this thing where movies sometimes I'm like, this would be a better play than it would be a movie. And I thought it would be a very good play. As a movie, I thought it was fine. It was good. I really liked all the actors. I think that the plot was a little... It could have been 45 minutes. This could have been an hour movie, and I think it would have been a little bit better.
You were complaining about it being rushed.
No, the end was rushed. I think they spent an hour building things, and it got really slow. I got a little bored in the middle, and then once like everybody started killing everybody else, then I was like, okay, I'm back into it.
I mean, that's a good point about the play piece. I feel like it would be a really good play.
No, it would be a great play, but I feel that way about most murder mystery movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Where I'm just like, this is
mystery movies.
You what?
I love murder mystery.
I do too. I just always am like, I'm just always like a little bit like, it feels like I would love this to be a play. I would love to go see people in this live more than I would. So I think, yeah, and I agree with you. It's not the most video game movie. Like it was a good movie, but it was still
kicks the shit out of the Assassin's Creed movie.
Yes, it does. Which is another Ubisoft movie that they made.
The only other.
All right.
Carrie would like to note she gives it 4 out of 5 full moons. In
the chat,
so she can't be here. I thought you.
4 out of 5 moons from Carrie. Thank you, Carrie. And so yeah, now we get to the part where Allison, where would you put this on your list of movies?
Oh gosh, do we have that list of movies somewhere?
It's in the if you go in the GameView in the script for today.
So right now you rank Silent Hill number.
Okay.
Rank Silent Hill number 1. Warcraft 2. Super Mario Bros. 3 and Final Fantasy.
This will be 3.
Within.
So this is
after Warcraft and Silent Hill.
Thank you.
Okay, so the third best movie. I'm gonna put it. I think I'm gonna put this one under Super Mario Brothers and above Warcraft for me. So basically, this is going to go 6th. This is 5th on my list of movies.
Okay.
Rampage still being number 1 for me, and then Street Fighter, then Silent Hill, then Super Mario Bros., then Werewolves Within. It's better than Warcraft and DOA, Doom, Resident Evil, Hitman, Final Fantasy, Lara Croft, and Blood Rain. Because I just think it was a good movie, but all the other ones were like more video games. And also Street Fighter is great. And Rampage was so fun. Rampage was the funnest movie to watch. Like,
I haven't seen that one. I need to watch it so I can rank it.
You have to watch it because it is like when we watched that, Chris and I were just like, we were surprised by like how much we loved that movie.
Honestly, I'm surprised at how much you guys loved it, and that's why I need to watch it because I just thought it was a throwaway movie.
It's The Rock being The Rock.
It's like
and Rampage being Rampage, like
yeah, and it was an action comedy video game movie, and it did all those things.
It's all the things that we wanted.
Pip is.
I'm trying to decide if I like this better than Rampage.
Well, while you're doing that, Pip has said that she's putting it after Warcraft and before Silent Hill, so it's the second best movie.
Better than Silent Hill. Don't tell Allison.
Too late,
Allison's
I know.
right here. She knows.
I judge you all. I'll stick Pyramid Head on you. I'm kidding.
Oh God.
Please don't.
Are you saying you might like this? This might be like your favorite movie of all the movies that we've watched?
I think it is my favorite movie. I don't know if it's my favorite video game movie. Does that make sense?
That's fair.
It does. I don't know though, because
I ranked it as movie, I guess, rather than video game movie. I think in my list.
That's how my list is too. Is I rank my list is ranked by how much did I enjoy this movie. Now I am I
thought this movie was hilarious.
It was so funny. I thought
it was really fun. I think it was funnier than Rampage.
I'm an action movie person.
Okay.
I have seen all of the Fast and Furiouses in theaters, and I love all of them. And I would like Mission Impossibles. I love all of those. So that's why anything that like has action in it makes me happy.
I
might have to go rewatch Rampage. I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it second.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it second.
Okay.
Tentatively,
and I'm going to rewatch Rampage.
If you want to rewatch it with
and
Carrie,
then I will,
we're going to stream it. And
I will get back to you.
Okay,
that's good.
But now it is second. It was really good.
I guess I just didn't. I liked it a lot. I just don't think it was my favorite thing. I think I just got a little bored with it in the middle.
Interesting. Okay.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's it. That's it for the movie here. Let me go to my script here real quick. So that's it. We have our definitive rankings from the GameView podcast. So if you want to watch this movie, go ahead. We say you should watch it. It seems it's pretty good.
I'd love to know what you think of it.
Yes,
and
tell us
where you would rank it.
Yes,
because apparently that's contentious now.
It's contentious.
Like the first one that me and Dan haven't agreed on.
Well, listen. We can't agree on everything, Chris. We can agree on most things. But
and Allison can disagree with both of you. And that's just how the podcast works.
So that's why Chris is wearing a blue shirt and I'm wearing a red shirt tonight. I was sitting here and it would just go, it's like, look,
blue,
we're opposites. Yeah. I'm just red.
And I went neutral, so.
Perfect. So if you
we have to talk about what our next one's going to be.
Oh, shit. I forgot. Okay.
So we can end if you want, talk about what the next one will be, and then start up the game while we're doing that. Yeah,
we could do that. Yes, that's a good idea. We'll put it in the Discord. If you have any questions about this movie or you want to give your opinions about this movie, go to the Discord, bit.ly/discobrew, and go ahead and put it in there. Put it in episode discussion and be like, hey, you guys are idiots. I can't believe you love this garbage movie. Or, oh my gosh, Dan, you're so stupid. How come you didn't think this was the greatest movie of all time? And I'll be like, meh, sorry. And then we'll chat about it on there. You can follow all of our stuff at the Game Brew. You can check out the podcast, listen to back episodes by going to the Game Brew, all one word, podcast on your favorite podcatcher. Yes. Allison, anything to plug?
I'm Allison, and sometimes I stream. Not consistently yet, but feel free to follow me for when I do. It's twitch.tv/Vinalia, Vinalia.
All right. Chris?
I'm going to PAX Unplugged with Dan and Ian in a couple weeks.
Exciting.
If you guys have anything you want me to check out or anything you think I should do, let me know. Or let us know, and then we'll talk about that, and we might talk about it. So yeah, just give us a heads up.
Hilariously, it's the busiest weekend that PAX could ever be on. I initially was like, yeah, we have nothing going on that weekend. It's perfectly fine. And then it's like, oh, wait, I have a gig. And then also on Sunday, we have an engagement party to go to. So it's like, we have so much stuff that's happening that weekend. And Chris and Ian are going to be there. It's going to be fun. We're going to go play some board games. We won't get to see Matt Mercer, unfortunately. I won't get to see Matt Mercer. He's only gonna be there on Friday. But yes, Pip will be Carrie will be wiring the Sanderson sisters Lego house with a lighting kit on Tuesday.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so you can follow her. That's at twitch.tv/Pipita, Pippita. Yeah, so check that out. It's always great. Nice, comfy streams. Watching people build Legos, especially Carrie. It's really great. I've always wanted to wire stuff. I have the Batmobile, the new Batmobile, and that has little lights on it. But
so cool.
That's about. Hold on, let me go get it. Let me show you. But first, we're gonna end the podcast by saying what we say whenever we end. Well, I guess no. This is the GameView podcast, and we end this by saying,
"Fuck you."
Yeah. See you, buttheads.
Is that how he ended?
Yeah, we just insult everybody. Say like a really mean goodbye, Allison. That's how you do it.
So weird. I don't remember that, but okay.
Just kidding.
No, you don't have to do it. No, no. Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. Say
Good
everybody.
night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Buttheads.
Got him.